So, it is 2022.
And this is the 34th annual East End Photographers Group show at Ashwag Hall.
And you and I are still here.
That's an amazing thing.
Yeah, and we're back at Ashwag Hall, which is an amazing thing at times, too.
And the building is still here, it's still standing. And we have another photography show, our annual show, and we've got 17 photographers.
17 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is our first big show of the season.
So this is technically still spring till the
Yeah, it's still spring.
So-
We got a couple more weeks before summer.
So it's still spring and springtime.
Spring and springtime, yeah.
Oh, okay, And we're having a show where a couple years ago, we won't say why, but there was a reason why there wasn't a show one year.
I guess probably the pandemic. Is that the?
I didn't want to
was that
say
something
I didn't
before
want to
that?
say the word.
Oh, okay.
This is my description of the pandemic. Yeah, but we're not doing that right now. It looks like we're in better shape.
Yeah.
Keep my fingers crossed. So I'm going to hand you the mic, and you're going to go through and talk to me about what you got here. And I'm
Okay.
going to be the guy behind that machine over there.
All right.
That we've done this kind of like before.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've done this so
I-
many times.
I know this guy. Yeah, we met back in the 1800s.
Yes.
Here you go, your
Okay.
mic.
Okay. The reason I put these in was because I was doing a cloud study, and so I was looking through my images, and this image is from the desert area in the Death Valley. And it's just a cloud study that I was interested in. It was just a wide open desert with a sort of a mountain range. This is a very popular spot in Death Valley called Zabreski Point. And luckily on the day before we were leaving, there was a big rainstorm coming into California, and we got all these really cool clouds coming in. And if you look really close in there, you'll see tiny people lining up with their cameras up on the mountains. And hopefully I didn't get any in there, but there might be one. And everybody takes photographs of this area. And the last one I have in the show is from Gardner's Bay, right out here. It's called Storm Clouds, and it's in Gardner's Bay. And where I live in Clearwater Beach, they have people come and look at the sunset, every night. And one sunset, I was there, and the clouds were crazy looking. And originally, this was sort of bluish and orange and red. I just made it into black and white. And so it looks, it looks sort of ominous. So those are the three that I have in the show. We haven't really counted up how many were in the show yet, but there are 17 photographers.
I'm kidding about that. But the bottom line here is that this year the show was open earlier to the public.
Yes, that's because we have the market. Every Saturday, there's a market out here, and they sell all different types of things. And they open up at 10, so it gives us an advantage. We have lots of people out there. They can come in, and we can start early, 10 o'clock.
So, this is great. This is great. So it's not just hit it for the bathroom and walk through my shots. It's now actually people that are early at the market get to see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Which is a great idea.
Yeah, and hopefully some of them will come back for our opening, which we have, at 5, and food and wine and all that kind of stuff.
And so now I want to ask you about music. What's going on with the East Hampton scene in music, particularly with you?
Okay, well, I'm playing, with a band called Out East, www.outeastmusic.com. And it's a trio, and we do 90% original music, and and the rest of it is a few covers, things like that. So we played the Talk House, we played the Clubhouse, we played a lot of different locations here, the Masonic Temple, in Sag Harbor, which is by the Whaling Museum.
Cool, I like
and,
that.
a lot of different outdoor things we did in town, at the village. And so we're keeping busy.
Okay, now, on another side, you're, besides a photographer and a musician, a drummer, percussionist, I like percussionist better than drummer.
Yeah.
But you also have various kinds of other skills in arts. Besides a photograph, I've seen you do little things you look into and,
Oh, yeah, I do some photo composite type things with metal and transparencies and do little sculptures. And actually, I'm doing one of those for the Box Art charity that's coming up in August. It's in town in East Hampton. And basically what it is they raise money and everybody gets a cigar box. And you have to make some sort of art from it. And
can't you
then
make a guitar out of it?
Yeah,
Your
some
cigar
people
box?
could, but yeah.
Yeah,
but
not what you had in mind.
Has to be art.
Art, okay.
Yeah, well, guitar can be art.
Yeah.
And then they auction it all those off, and they take that money and it goes to the charity for the church.
Is
Their
this an annual event
annual event.
So I could
It's coming
repeat
up
this.
August 27th, I think.
of 2022? So
2022.
if we have this show coming up, we'll have to put a subtitle between us of the recent show that's going to air, because that would be, I have to do that.
Okay.
So I'm just saying,
Yeah.
technical stuff, guys. So,
Yeah.
well, I thank you for inviting me here.
Well, it's always great to see you.
You know, we get to see each other like so much during the year. Yeah. But that's how life goes,
That's how
being
it is.
busy.
That's show business.
That is show business, that is, And the show looks really good this year,
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to try and snag a few other people. Try.
Okay.
You never know around here.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
I think I see one over there.
Well, we'll get them. We'll
All
get
right.
him, we'll get her, we'll get them all.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks again.
That's a wrap, one of these. I am Zenbach, and you are
Jim Slezak.
Jim. Behind me are 3 photography, I guess you call it graphic designs?
They're things that I composed.
Compositions, okay. I'm going to hand you the mic. I'm going to work the camera, and you can talk to me with each one. So I'm going to be the cameraman. You can show me what's going on here.
Okay.
Here you go.
All right,
You got it.
all right. Actually, each of these are photographs of rubber bands. Some over 2 years ago, it was winter. I was standing by my desk, and I happened to pick up a rubber band, and I put it down on a Post-it pad. And I kind of liked the way it looked. It was just happened that way. And I began composing these images on the floor. I would take rubber bands and either put them directly on a piece of whiteboard, or on a board on which I had already printed something like these two. And I would adjust the rubber bands till I got what I thought was a visually interesting image. Took the picture with a macro lens, and then made sure that I had as much white as I could possibly have. When I first sent these out to a printer to be printed on metal prints, 20 by 30, 30 by 30, the printer said to me, "Jim, you got dots on your prints." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Zoom in on it, and what happens is when the sun came down at a low angle, any little imperfection on the paper produced a shadow that you could see when you blew it up big." So I had to go back into every image and select every area and totally fill it in with white. There's about 90 of these in my collection, and to do all 90 of them was time-consuming. And these have sold out of the William Risk Gallery during the year 2020 and 2021. And they're available there. She still has some on the wall in the back room. These were all done as metal prints. They really pop as a metal print. And my printer recently told me that the aluminum prints have gotten to be very expensive, and that I should go with acrylic. So the last one I had printed was an acrylic print. It also has a good amount of pop. And I just had a lot of fun with them. These are not metal, these are on luster paper. I make the frames and do all this stuff myself on these size pieces.
So I want to ask you a question. How long you've been connected with this?
With EPG?
Yeah, how long?
Oh, maybe 6 or 7 years.
Okay, so you've been a while here.
I've been a while here.
Yeah. And you have seen the metalwork that was on the wall. We have one that had a 3D look last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Metal's fun. It's something I hadn't done until I had the stuff at the gallery, and we both agreed that it would look best on metal.
I had an artist, and my stuff was in modern photography, chasing gold. He painted Egyptian art. So he was selling his original art to Rosicrucians and metaphysical places for a couple $100.
Okay.
I found a fine print company in Ohio. They banked my negatives, and they get everything the way I liked it. We made a master. And I was selling in a very cheap frame the prints almost the same as he was selling the. Then I took one, and there was a cloth, I think they called it Vibreboard, going back years ago. It was a cloth print.
I've only been doing this since 2000.
Okay, this is going back 97.
2010, excuse me.
Yeah, okay, and they had a cloth print. So this looked like actual painting, because he did
Yeah,
Egyptian art, you know. So, but I think what I'm trying to say is, the process of the composition idea could be a picture you see that you take, or something you can create to do a shoot with, and then you got to worry about lighting and background and getting the white and getting the depth up. And if you're going to do anything to give a 3D look, then you want to make sure you got that depth of field right, you know. So it's really involved, you know. When I saw this was the only thing I saw that had that graphic look. But I did not know
It was
rubber bands, you know.
Yeah, I
And I'm going to steal from my friend Billy Bingo, did a comedy act. He had the cheapest cell phone holder, so you don't get a ticket. For $10, he would sell you a box of rubber bands that you put around your head and stick the phone in. You know, but you have given me a new use of a rubber
I'm
band.
glad that I inspired
Yeah,
you.
right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pat, I'm Zenbach. And you know what? You're Pat.
I'm Pat, and you're Zenbach.
That's right.
But I could call you Zen.
You can call me Zen. I'll call you Pat.
Okay.
All right, Pat, I don't think we met before here.
No, we
I'd
haven't.
make you a newbie, or I just missed you?
I think newbie. You'd never dismiss.
Okay.
Right?
I would have never, well, if I missed, I would have never missed you. Yeah.
It's true. I
That's
think
true.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have missed.
All right, so now, you're here with some photography to show,
I am.
all right? Now, this is going to be the hard part. I'm going to go behind that camera, because there's no other cameraman here. And you're going to take this microphone.
My lord.
My lord, you hold it.
Okay.
That's good, that's good.
That's good?
That's fine, a little
Okay.
closer, you're fine.
A little
Don't
closer.
be intimidated, but,
All right.
and then you're gonna talk, give me something you've done, I'm gonna do a photograph of it from back there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can point at it, and I can zoom in and all, and I'm gonna make it work.
Okay, so here's rhythm and blues. It obviously is a little different, and that's why I caught it, because we went to a museum locally of a famous jewelry bag maker, and the grounds are park-like, and there was this huge fountain, and it was a dappled sunshine day. You can see the blue sky in it, and I could not believe I was seeing floating CDs in it, and they reflected so beautifully that I had to capture the moment. And I've had a very difficult time coming up with the right name, but I kind of liked rhythm and blues. And there we are. No jewelry purchased, no photos of the pretty beaded bags, but I came out with what I think is a very fun shot. The name of this photograph is called Gray Day. And that's what it was, all day until even to sunset, and I went around the corner from me is a local beach that I attend sunsets. And I did not expect to catch anything because it was an overcast, gray day all day, and yet the filtering of those clouds was just light enough to shelter, or shield the bright sun rays, and I got this very rainbow-like sun with different shades of pink throughout, and the rest is pretty monotone in gray-green. And luck is everything. When you show up on a rainy day, sometimes you get a beautiful sun. All right, so this shot is called Shoreline, and what struck me, it's a tidal pool on a walk, an early morning walk along Main Beach, and what struck me was that linear definition of the fading, the marshland, the water, the rise up to the sand. There's like 7 layers of horizontal textures in different stages, and I just loved the look of all that. I have it as a very large photo in my home because I think it's beautiful. And when you walk along a beach and there's nothing there but water and sand, look at look what was really there, hidden. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 7 layers. And that is Shoreline. This is patina, and I'm sure patina is aged. I want to say this is, what is it? Bronze, I think, that ages to that soft green. And I'd been on a garden tour that day. And the end of the day, we were local at a couple who had some kind of daylily collection. And in their yard was this fabulous bird bath, I think. And I love the elliptical shading on it and the layers, and it looked like they had tried to scratch off the aging process, which is a shame because I think it's what gave it the character. And so before it was, I wanted to ask if I could have it if they didn't want it, but I just settled for a photograph instead. And that is patina, which is aging beautifully.
Just wanted to say I appreciate your time, and I can see that you have a whole bunch of things here, so we're going to be checking this out in my edit room, and you're going to come up in a collage. So you have a great day,
I thank you
and
very
we'll
much.
have fun today.
I did have fun.
That's it.
You never know. You just don't know.
That's it. You're a star. I am Zenbach, and you are?
Danis Solidis.
Davis.
Danis.
Danis.
It's an odd name. It's Latvian. But
Okay, okay.
I say Danis. It could be pronounced Dinas, but I'm Danis.
All right. Zenbach is just Zenbach.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Names are very prominent these days. So
So now you have different looking stuff around here. I should say work. This is a very unique look
yeah.
and large.
Yeah, it's a stretch piece, 48 inches, but it's basically a photograph, photography.
Jerry.
But I use computer programs to make some alterations and make the contrast. It brings out color, saturation. It gives it a artistic appeal instead of just a photographic appeal, but it's based on the same. Actually, taken a couple of years ago right here in Indian Wells. And I am standing in the water, like where these people are, like midway between the waves and the shoreline. I'm way down here in the same tidal pool. Like, I'm worried about getting hit with a big wave.
And
Carrying
swept out to sea?
Well, I'm carrying, a small camera, but still, you don't want to get washed away with the waves. But so that's basically, I do Photoshop a lot, so I like the idea.
Okay. So what else you got here?
I got some pieces in the corner there.
We'll
some
travel down
landscapes.
that way.
Okay, here's another couple of photographs I've done recently. These are landscapes. Right here, this is from Last Point, which is somewhat across the harbor here where we are. one of the tributaries of Accabonac Harbor. There's different areas, but a fall colorage, and another one I did is mostly the trees. I wanted to get fall colors on the trees, and I was actually out in the water in a kayak, so I'm adventuring to get landscape pictures from all angles. Okay, to finish off the group of the series that I have presented in this show, this is a wave series. I've done a handful that I've captured in a nice motion to them, and I present this in a black and white format so you get more feeling for the texture than worrying about colors. And it's always beautiful to see the ocean when it's at its glory.
And here we are. Well, I thank you for your time,
You're welcome.
and hopefully we'll see you next year.
Hopefully we're still here.
I plan on it.
too.
I
We're
do.
all planning on it.
You got it.
As long as the building stays and the town stays and we all stay the same.
That's the idea. And with more work, more stuff on the walls.
Been here for 40 years. I'm not moving away.
Well, I've been around, but not here, but I've been around.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Painless. Thank you. Painless. I'm Zenbach, and you are?
I'm Joanna McCarthy.
Joanna.
Yes.
Joanna, is this your first show, or you've been here before?
At Oshawa Hall?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I've shown here many times.
Then you missed me. I've been here many times.
Oh, I guess I usually arrive later
Okay, I
in
disappear.
the evening. I have something else tonight, so I had come a little early.
Oh, okay. I disappear. The sun goes down, I crawl back away. So I would like you to tell me what you have on the wall, but first, I'm going to ask the usual questions. What kind of cameras do you shoot with?
Nikon.
Another Nikon person. Uh-huh.
I've been shooting with them for quite a few years.
Okay.
Actually, since I started shooting.
You just went for the Cadillac. Yeah, okay.
I used to do some advertising for them. They would buy my photographs for ads and promotion pieces.
Well, I won't get into this, but my friend is the guy who does the websites.
Okay.
And was the editor of Modern Photography.
Oh,
I will talk about that after.
okay.
Okay, so, all right. Well, I'm going to give you the microphone. Stay as close as you can.
Okay.
And I'm going to go behind the camera, and you have more than one, so we'll do this and we'll go over there.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is a shot that I did in Bridgehampton on Dune Road, and it was early in summer, and with this lovely porch that went around completely around the house. And I just like this because the ocean was really calm and has a very still feeling about it. But I really like the light also. It sort of fit the mood of everything that's going on in the photograph. And I have another shot in the show also. It's on the other wall, so we can go over there if you like. Okay, so this is another photograph I did that's in the show. It's at Long Beach near Sag Harbor, and I go there a lot. I walk my dog there, but mainly I go there to shoot because it's every time you go there it's different, and the light is always spectacular. It's facing west, and this particular shot I especially like because of the muted colors. It almost looks like a moire. And I call it sea glass. And actually, I sold it at a show last week. And I had planned to put it in a couple of shows this summer, and the show also, because it's a relatively new photograph. So that's it, I guess.
I am Zenbach, and you are?
I'm Ron Buchter.
Ron, we are here in Oshawa Hall. And rumor has it you've got some photographs on the wall.
I do.
You do? So let me ask a couple questions. What kind of camera you shoot with?
I've got a Fuji X-T4 and a Fuji X-T2.
Fuji man. Any type of lenses you like?
All of them.
All of them. Okay, okay. I used to be like, from a 1.4 to a Vivitar or I think it was a 70-210. Yeah, I was married to them.
I've got one that's a 27 millimeter pancake lens.
Yeah.
And I just love it. It's just a little bit wider than the normal and just does a great job.
I'm going to hand you the mic, and I'm going to run around to the back of the camera to be cameraman, and you can show me what we have, because I think you have something that might be a swan or it could be geese. I don't know. It's a what?
Egret.
Egret. See, what do I know? And I live next to a lake.
This is a picture I took of an egret on Accabonac Harbor in East Hampton. I normally don't take a lot of wildlife because for me, I don't have the patience to wait for them to sit still. So, but this was taken with a telephoto, so I wasn't that close to the bird to disturb it. Okay, the picture on top was taken at Chatfield Pond in Springs, off Two Holes of Water Road, and it was taken in the late fall, and I just like the rhythm of the grass in the water, and on an overcast day. So. And the one on the bottom was taken in the fog. It's also Accabonac Harbor from Louse Point. And I just wanted the fog to kind of take over the background and leave the grass sharp in the foreground.
So you've been doing the show before? First year?
I think this is the third year.
Third one, okay. So I guess I missed you in the last two. I'm usually here.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I've
So
seen
you
it.
avoided me.
Yeah.
I got you finally. I finally got you. I appreciate your time and I love your work.
No, thank you.
Thank you. I'm Zenbach, and you are?
Keith Manning.
Keith, we are here at Ashwag Hall, another show, a spring show in Springs. Yet it's summer, but it's not. Something like that. So, I have lava behind me?
You do.
All right. I want to step out of this. Before I ask you I'm going to step out. What kind of camera did you shoot with?
I shoot with Nikons. I shoot with a D850 and a D750.
All righty. And lenses?
Lenses are 1635 f4 and a 70-200 f4 and a 50 f1.8 and a 20 f1.8, and those are my main lenses that I do.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was down at a 1.4 and I had a 70-210 back in the day, a macro zoom Vivitar, early stuff. But they were good. They were good lenses back then. I'm going to hand you this, and I'm going to go back there and be the cameraman. You could tell me what you got.
Okay, so let's start with this one. Since this is from 2015, this is from a photography trip to the Dolomites, and this is in the middle of the Dolomites at one of the higher peaks, 3,000 meters. And I was the only one who got up for this sunrise at something like 4 in the morning. It was pitch dark, and I don't know, sometime after 5:30 or so, the sun came up, and there was fog right here. And at a certain point, the orange and yellows just shot out as like a cannon. And it was spectacular. You can see the fog here. The reflection of the light has like a purpley background, and then we're over the clouds that are way above everyone else. This is one of my favorite shots, and usually my preference is black and white, but this was such a spectacular sunrise that I chose to keep it in color. I have a black and white version too. This one is very recent, and it's a new favorite. And again, my preference is black and white, but I had never seen live lava before, and I just could not turn this orange and smoke to black and white, because there's something about watching a live volcano that just brings life to you, excitement. And I was pretty safe because I was up about 500, about 300 yards or so. But we were lucky. We arrived at 6 in the morning, and as we were flying in, we could see the volcano firing up. And literally the day before we arrived, this new fissure came about. So we literally got off the plane and went right to the volcano. It was a pretty steep hike, but it was one of the most exciting times of my life, and I just could not put this in black and white. What I did end up doing in order to get the feel of the energy that was coming from this scene, I basically blacked out the sky because it was in the morning, which I don't usually do, but I really like the end result because it makes you feel like you're actually on the scene. And this is the Fagradalsfjall volcano in Iceland, and that's it. So these black and white, as I said before, is my favorite. This one is my favorite mountain in Iceland, Kirkjufell, and this is at a sunset last September, and I'm literally right on the edge of the cliff. This is Kirkjufell Foss, which is the little waterfall that oversees Kirkjufell, and I tried to get in the background the beautiful fjord, which is right north of West Iceland. This one over here, that was taken last September. This one over here was taken in a 2016 visit, and it's in the West Fjords. And this was actually during the summer solstice, and this shot is 2 in the morning. You can see it's very bright, and it's a long exposure, as the other one is as well. And the clouds appear as if they're making a dive for the beach. I named it Alien Invasion. This photo was one of 4 photos that is supposed to appear on a new TV show called Monarch. The set director came in and bought 4 prints, and I caught one of them on the video. It was supposed to start January 30th, the show, but because of COVID, they're postponing it to this autumn. And in the video, you can see this and one of my portraits in the background. But this is one of my favorite.
Well, I thank you very much. And every time I use lava hand soap, I'm going to be thinking of you. Except for I'm not having to take any risks. You know, it's not hot, but it works. Thank you.
You're welcome.